Tzu Chi U.S. headquarters holds a UN panel to discuss ways to empower rural women. More second-generation new immigrants study Southeast Asian languages. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. We begin our program today with some news from the United States. Tzu Chi U.S. headquarters partnered with the UN to hold a panel discussion in New York City. Many noted that women who live in rural communities don't have right to speak out. The panel noted that rural women should be empowered to enable change on a variety of subjects, including climate change. Here's more.
More than a quarter of the world lives in the most vulnerable situations affected by the climate change and the food crisis.
And one thing that we really wanted to bring everyone together today on was look at how climate change is impacting not just the populations we already serve, but also populations that aren't necessarily paid attention to as much.
In some of the most marginalized areas are indigenous communities, and in those indigenous communities, the women are, not able to speak out and not participate in any kind of public space. Everything they do and they talk is in the private space.
As an individual, again, investing in WASH, investing in education for girls, I think that there's nothing more powerful than those two elements to affect change into the future.
We all know climate change. We all know how to empower rural women. However, all the time, every year, we've been talking, but how can put into actions? How can we think if one day we are one of the rural women, what kind of life we would like to choose?
We have a lot of problems in Africa, but we are not going to solve them until we walk our talk. Through strong leadership, I'm sure these challenges that rural women farmers are facing will be history. Thank you.
Also in the United States, San Bernardino in Southern California has a very high poverty rate, where 1 in every 5 people lives below the poverty line. From 2016, Tzu Chi U.S. headquarters has been helping these underprivileged people with 2 projects, the DaAi Mobile Food Pantry and free clinics. Here is our report.
Whether it is the crime rate or the poverty rate, these figures have put San Bernardino near the top for the past few years in the United States. The locals don't have enough food to eat and cannot see doctors when they are ill. Tzu Chi U.S. headquarters came 6 in the morning to prepare for a free clinic. People who need it started to line up as early as 4 o'clock. This family of 4 are involved in service.
Even though I'm only 12, I can still help a lot. It's really fun.
Fernando's back pain improved a lot after acupuncture treatment.
At the beginning, my pain scale was at 8, with 10 being the most painful. Then after the treatment, the pain scale came down to 3 or 4. It makes a lot of improvement.
Christine has been taking part in the free clinics for 2 years. It has awakened her decision as to why she practices medicine.
Do this on your own time and just reflect that you're doing this for the love of your practice. No money can buy that.
Lily finds a woman crying at the corner.
Her father-in-law had just passed away, and she had received the phone call literally as she walked in the gate to the health clinic. They decided they would stay, and that's why it was hitting her at the moment as she filled it out, feeling guilty that she was staying after hearing such difficult news for her.
Therefore, she is seen by the doctor right away. It shows that volunteers are the force that supports underprivileged people.
Those with irregular heartbeats face the risk of blood clots, which might enter the bloodstream and cause a stroke. Fortunately, currently doctors can perform a surgery to prevent this condition from happening. Let's learn more about this procedure. If someone suffers from irregular heartbeat and feels dizzy, he might have atrial fibrillation and a higher chance of getting a stroke. Fang Meijing, who has suffered from atrial fibrillation for 20 years, has strokes twice and suffered from heart attack.
I bumped into something, so I stopped taking the blood thinners. Then I had a heart attack. The doctor told me not to stop taking blood thinners. Therefore, even though I need a tooth transplant and have gallstones, I do not dare to undergo surgeries.
For atrial fibrillation patients, they might have left atrial appendage blood clots, which enters the bloodstream and causes a stroke.
It is something similar to an ear in our heart chamber. Among atrial fibrillation patients who have strokes, 90% of their thrombus is caused by it.
In the past, patients need to take blood thinners. Now they can undergo left atrial appendage closure surgeries and reduce the chance of having a stroke.
After we place the LAA occluder inside, it will become part of our LAA. Therefore, blood cannot go inside. Since LAA does not have a specific function, it is fine this way.
Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital has conducted 3 LAA occlusion surgeries, inviting doctors from Hong Kong to supervise them. The doctors hope that they can benefit more patients in eastern Taiwan. Many people may be worried about spinal injury and the potential of accidentally injuring nerves. Therefore, many people choose not to have such surgery. However, minimally invasive spine surgery supplemented by X-ray imaging systems can minimize such complications and reduce recovery time. It also reduces the pain caused by the surgery. Here is more.
84-year-old Mr. Liao relies upon a cane and walks slowly. 7 years ago, he began to suffer from displacement of vertebrae in his back, leading to nerve compression, making it difficult to walk. After surgery, his problem with pain ended.
My father would walk 2 or 3 steps and need to take a rest and then do it again. When he got up, he would scream 2 or 3 times that his back hurt. After the surgery, he would use a cane, but a doctor worried that he might fall over if he didn't grab the cane properly. Now he doesn't have such pain when walking.
If pain medication and physical therapy cannot improve a patient's situation, doctors recommend microsurgery, as they take an X-ray and make an incision of just 1 to 3 centimeters, and able to insert pins to stabilize the patient's spine.
There's less damage to the area with less blood loss, only around 30 to 50 cc, as the X-ray guides us to a more precise location, and we can fix this area in a more stable manner.
Doctors remind everyone that lumbar back pain can be caused by being sedentary for a long time. If one experiences weakness or numbness in the feet, a specialist should be consulted to reduce the burden on the lumbar vertebrae through medication, assistive devices, or rehabilitation to prevent deterioration.
In this report, we bring you the story of a 13-year-old future artist, He Chang-you, who has been studying art since little. Even though his family is financially stressed, his mother still fully supports his passion about art. In addition to the volunteers, also give this family much spiritual support. Let's take a look.
To me, painting is something that can relieve my emotions, and it makes me feel very relaxed. So I always forget about time and just keep painting for a long time. Whatever happened can be pushed aside when you concentrate on painting. It was not easy for me to learn to paint when I was little because my family was financially challenged back then.
When I moved back to Zhanghua, he's already 2 years old, and my business has fallen apart in the same time.
Chang-yu's mother is a single mother, so when she returned to hear a friend say that she was suffering from heavy emotional stress and hoping that some of our volunteers can come to give her some support.
我们这边的志工可以过来这边陪伴。对，常佑，今年岁末祝师姑说希望你要哦。写作年。
毛笔有都很旧了。
啊？旧。
有一支好像8年了。
还有需要什么吗？
没有，
就这2个就可以了。
对，
做到就这样哈。你看这改毛笔，我要麻烦你搞啊，它缺这2支，它这2支毛笔都已经坏掉了。
是大概。
我想讲，这个是我是较外行。
I'm not an expert on this, but a good artist must first have good tools. This is the expert on calligraphy, so I asked him to pick 2 good brushes for me.
那个好一点的。
We use anthocyanidin to paint the dark side as the shadow. You can use it to paint all the dark sides, and remember to put more water in it. We should train him the fundamental skills well when he's young.
Through the teacher's vibrant life experiences, I hope he can guide more children like Changyou, who's unconfident and introvert, so that one day they can paint a colorful life for themselves.
Changyou is my motivation to strive for life because I have nothing else.
Over the past few years, more people have begun studying Southeast Asian languages, such as Thai and Vietnamese. This has been aided by Taiwan government's decision to promote the study of mother languages in schools. A number of universities have also added Southeast Asian departments. Some second-generation new immigrants believe that learning such languages will allow them to eventually return home to find work.
Vietnam's GDP rose 6%, leading more foreign investment to pour into the country, as many are enjoying a rising standard of living. This booming Southeast Asian economy is attracting many eager to benefit, with language ability being one key to business. National Chi University is offering Vietnamese language course with intermediate and mid-level instruction. The oldest student in the class, Yu Chi-ming, was a first-grade elementary teacher and someone with a doctoral degree. He's studying Vietnamese as part of changes to the 12-year curriculum, mandating mother languages are taught.
Vietnamese mothers may think that their Chinese ability may not be good enough, so the Education Ministry has opened some classes for those from Southeast Asian countries. Therefore, for qualified teachers who choose Vietnamese, there may be opportunities. Fortunately, I have an interest in this field and a little ability, which is why I am studying it.
Xin chào các bạn, tôi tên là Hà Hân Ấn, là sinh viên năm 3 khoa Đông Nam Á của trường Đại học Chi Nam.
Aside from just studying Vietnamese, He Xin-yan in high school began to change his opinion of Southeast Asia. He's now studying in this department and has gone to Vietnam on exchange programs many times.
The first time I went to Vietnam, the whole economy seemed to be buzzing, and everything was taking off as the city was very active indeed.
Going to Vietnam and coming back, I found they were quite inspired. I asked them why, and they say that they all like Vietnam now, and they think they can get a job there, as this is now their personal interest.
This college lecturer is a graduate of Ho Chi Minh City University of Pedagogy, and in 2008 he came to Taiwan to study for a master's degree, and then later a doctoral degree. Over the past few years, he's not only been a lecturer allowing students to gain a certificate of proficiency, has also seen his class enrollment increase.
You need to speak Vietnamese if you go there for work. This is important not only for your job and co-workers, but also to become part of society. You can't be at the factory 24 hours a day. You need to make friends too.
Aside from Vietnamese, other Southeast Asian languages are also being taught, comprising 11 countries and 13 official languages. The development of Asian economies have led many universities in Taiwan to offer Southeast Asian departments. This includes Kaohsiung University and NCCU, which offer new curriculum. This is also benefiting some second-generation new immigrants who may be able to benefit from the advantages in their background.
I can learn more about Vietnamese people and become a partner, maybe leading them into Central Asia to start a business. This isn't certain, but I think that young Taiwanese will find opportunities abroad where no one else wants to go.
最好是没有人想去那些地方，才是你的机会。
他懂得两边的文化。
They understand two cultures. They can speak to our staff and our managers. They talk to both sides. So this really helps our production and operations and our business.
Globalization has led to many opportunities abroad as the second-generation immigrants may be attracted to Southeast Asian studies with a sense of mission or purpose. Their heritage makes them well-suited to this work as they don't consider themselves foreigners.
I think that communicating with different cultures is more important than languages. This is because many Southeast Asian countries are not the same hand culture, and their customs are actually quite different than ours. This takes some study, and businesses are actually interested in this.
Taiwan sees the prosperity in these overseas markets and hopes to send its youth there to prosper. To train them, more study of Southeast Asian languages is needed, and soon these young people will be able to go abroad and find their own future.
In our next report, we'll meet two students who have been admitted to college through the STAR plan in Taiwan's college entrance system. One is Lin诗敏, who was diagnosed with acute leukemia and had once been hospitalized for more than a month. The other student is Wu Jianwei, who suffers from muscular dystrophy. However, he has been able to enter a top university.
After class, the students immediately help Wu Jianwei soothe muscles. Giving him a massage while chatting, Jianwei suffers from muscular dystrophy and weighs only 20 kilograms. However, he is not defeated by physical impairment, and he has been admitted to enter National Sun Yat-sen University's Departments of Computer Science and Engineering.
I have no choice but to rely on my brain to improve my life. Most people still have limbs to do many things, so I hope they can do everything well.
Jianwei also studies very hard for his family. Growing up in a single-parent family, he has kept his mother's selfless devotion in his mind.
I hope in the future I can have some achievements and take care of my mom.
I also feel satisfied as he is able to enter the university he wants.
Over the past 17 years, Jianwei has been supported by his mother's love, and in the future, the mother-son pair will continue to accompany and support each other. Studying hard to pursue education, Lin诗敏from Dali Senior High School was diagnosed with acute leukemia when she was in 11th grade. She had been hospitalized for more than a month and was knocking at death's door. Now she is able to enter National Taiwan University's Departments of Pharmacy.
Life is fragile, so I should seize the moment. After I recover from the illness, I want to study even harder.
She knows how to be grateful. She may take the initiative saying, "Thank you, teacher."
Having experienced the impermanence of life, Lin诗敏always feels content and cherishes blessings in her life.
In Kaohsiung, Taiwan, a fire broke out at Tzu Chi volunteer Chen Gaoqiang's home. At that time, a volunteer who lives across the street discovered the accident and immediately called for help, preventing fire expansion. Despite the busy schedule of Tzu Chi volunteers in his community, his Dharma families took turns to help him clean the debris, moving him to tears. Here is our report.
Walking up the dark staircase with only one night light, volunteers have come to the 4th floor where everything has been scorched by the fire. Right after the fire broke out, a Tzu Chi volunteer who lives across the street discovered the accident.
The 4th floor was smoking. After I discovered the situation, I immediately called the fire department. I also phoned the Tzu Chi brother asking to return home right away since his house was on fire.
With the help of Dharma families, only the 4th floor of Tzu Chi volunteer Chen Gaoqiang's home was damaged by the fire. On the day when volunteers were going to help clean the affected area, some important Tzu Chi events in the community, such as prayer services and recycling activities, had been arranged. The volunteers then divided into several groups to complete different works.
We left Tzu Chi brothers here. As for Tzu Chi sisters, we went to assist in prayer services.
Delivering furniture and moving heavy objects. Men were responsible for these works in the morning, while in the afternoon, women took over the duty. Chen has long been serving as a Tzu Chi volunteer to help people in need. On this day, he received help from others.
The typhoon, which occurred the year before, tore off the roof of my house. Our leader, Chen Gaoqiang, called on many people to help repair my home. This year, it's my turn to help him. Isn't it a blessing?
Volunteers relate to deliver love and care, allowing Chen to let go of anxiety and vent emotions.
It's very warm. My son and I feel very warm. Thank you all.
A friend in need is a friend indeed. The Tzu Chi family turns the peril of fire into safety.
In Suzhou of China, Tzu Chi volunteers have been caring for leukemia patient Hua Yue. After being diagnosed with leukemia last March, she underwent a stem cell transplant surgery last September. Half a year after she underwent a transplant surgery, she still suffers from side effects. Fortunately, Tzu Chi volunteers have stayed by her side, giving her much spiritual support. In addition, Tzu Chi volunteers continue to provide her family with monetary aid and love.
一开始的时候，我是对于这个移植我是很恐惧的，我是感觉进去了可能就死在里面了，不一定能出得来。
Leukemia has endangered the life of Hua Yue. Fortunately, her father, who's a matching donor, donated his stem cells, saving her life.
My mother gave me life, and my father gave me a second chance at life. I'm very grateful to him.
Facing side effects half a year after the transplant surgery, Hua Yue feels a bit depressed.
Do not worry about things that haven't happened. After it happens, we will deal with it.
I can do this. Bless yourself every day and then you can win the battle against cancer. In fact, this is a test for you. It's a challenge. If you can overcome it, you can win the battle.
Hua Yue's parents have quit their jobs to look after her. Tzu Chi volunteers also provide medical and living subsidies for the family.
As long as she can recover, I don't mind working harder. I really do not consider it hard work.
You've given me encouragement and confidence to recover.
In California of the United States, Los Angeles government has set up homeless help desks for the homeless people to access information on nearby shelters, hygiene stations, free meals, and medical assistance. It offers a one-stop shop to find basic services and bring their transition into supportive housing. We'll leave you with these images at the end of our program. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.